Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Dr. Leslie, forensic psychologist. Here are some thoughts now that my kids are asleep. And yes, I work civil lawsuits day in and day out for celebrities in which I sign NDAs, and you will never ever hear of the ones we've all settled. And I say we because I'm brought in as an expert to determine the validity of the statements, of the claims, the truthfulness for both defense and for plaintiffs. Super interesting to me that Lively's complaint lawsuit came and now everyone's been really quiet. It's interesting to me that Justin Baldoni, who has been backed by this known billionaire, has really leveraged a lot of money into his defense, almost more money than he actually needs and more money than he would probably have actually made in his career. Why spend that much money? What, close to $100 million, I think it'll add up to. And with this website and promoting it internationally, I mean, you have no idea the background money that is going into pushing this out throughout the world. Why defend yourself to that degree unless you have something to defend against? So we know what he's defending against. We've seen what Blake has in the lawsuit. What he is now saying does not equate to what she said. So, what that tells me is that she has a lot more. And I don't mean just she, I mean the hundreds of people that were on set and on a set where they did not want to speak up because it was so bad. On a set where they knew that Baldoni was backed by somebody so powerful and rich. On a set where he may have abused his authority and that money and that connection to quiet the people because they just wanted to stay in it. They wanted to stay a part of it and they didn't want to be sued. If we find out that Blake Lively was actually leveraging being sexually harassed so that she could get movie rights and all of this shit, I'm not sure there's anything wrong with that. Especially if she's been in an environment where she has actually been really, really emotionally and physically and sexually harassed for a long, long time, and maybe around other people who endured the same thing. So she's angry, and maybe her husband is angry too. I wouldn't want my private messages to be released because they would be out of context. And if they were out of context, then the narrative around them could be painted in any which way. So let's say there's a lawsuit where you have a text message, you have lawyers building this beautiful picture all around it, you have certain video evidence. By the way, there's a lot of gaps. So now the public's going to see that and they're going to apply what they think is true based on all of the influence around them. The way that Baldoni's reacted is almost like an obsession. And again, we think he's putting all of his shit out there, or the legal team, but is he? Now, prior to court, I would definitely want a lawyer like Friedman to represent me because he has completely changed the public opinion about Justin. Everyone didn't like him, and now everyone loves him. They're almost obsessed with him. In court, in trial, I would like Blake's lawyers because they haven't shown their cards, because they have the smoking guns. And I know what everyone's going to say. No, no, no. How could you say this? You don't have all the information. Have you read all the information that they put out? Yes, I have. And I think it's been a beautiful manipulation tactic of somewhat simple information to turn a large population against people who are easily seen as Caucasian bullies with a ton of money. You, me, most of us, we're low on the totem pole. Now everybody thinks that there's this massive divide between them, too. They're still the 1%. No, no, Justin's not the 1%. He doesn't have a best friend who's a billionaire. My biggest fear is that at the end of the day, people hate Amber Heard and they love Johnny Depp. When at the end of the day, they both kind of suck. She still pooped in his bed. He still did horrible things to her, but he's getting advertising campaigns and he, the media, his press, the way the court case ran, put him back on top. I think we are seeing more manipulation than we saw in the Weinstein case. And Weinstein was around for a long time, and people were quiet for a very long time. And when people came forward, they were still hated. Do you have a bad taste in your mouth when I say Ashley Judd? Rose McGowan? It wasn't until court where people really understood what Epstein, what Weinstein, when the evidence really came out. I just don't think anyone should be ride or die right now. And it may look like Justin's cards are all out on the table, but there is no way in hell that they are. I'm not going to make a bet on this case, but I would make a bet that Taylor's going to hang with Blake quietly at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be all about Travis. And then afterwards, we're going to see Taylor come out and support Blake. Everyone was so quick to choose the man and not the bear. What a massive switch from last year. What a massive shift from the Me Too. And the only thing that happened was that lawyers publicized a whole bunch of information from an actor. From actors? I know we joke around on social media, but really, I wouldn't draw conclusions. Like, I wouldn't draw conclusions in life either until you've heard both sides and you've seen all the evidence.